What's MegaCapitalG here? Got an excellent grindy rogue duel for you guys to check out involving Crystron down here at the bottom, and this is the purest of pure Crystron builds you are ever going to see. This dude takes Crystron very seriously. The fact that he is running Crystron Potential kind of tells you that, because only pure Crystron run this card. Obviously, it's the card that gets you a draw every time you synchro summon during the end phase of that turn, and it can be used during both players' turns. Has the obligatory gain 300 attack and defense that every field spell on, ever created in Yu-Gi-Oh now has, but it's still a card that can pay for itself 3-4 times over depending on how long the duel actually goes. He also runs Moray of Greed and Salvage. Now that just told me right there he's probably not running like 15 hand traps or any of that nonsense. This dude is just worried about his archetype and doing his plays. Facing off against ABC at the top, this hand looks like Brick City, and in fact this doesn't even look like an ABC hand, but I promise you it is actually an ABC deck. You don't run 3 copies of Buster Dragon if you're not playing ABC. He's running the Brilliant Engine in the deck. I don't think it's necessary. It obviously just caused a Garnet brick in his hand, but hey, you live and learn, right? And he is running the Cosmic, or not the Cosmic, the Galaxy Soldier variants as well. So I believe that Crystron up first. I don't know. I think if I play Crystron, I might consider like Supply Squad in the deck. The deck does blow its cards up a lot, so I feel like you could just get like a whole bunch of pluses. And if you combine that with Crystolic Potential, I feel like you can draw a lot of cards and your opponent might be overwhelmed. Crystron are actually a really good grind deck. So he summons Link Slayer, which is kind of like it's like a Photon Thrasher a little bit. And I believe he is going to transmodify into the Soldier. He gets another copy of Soldier, which is probably going to hit the field as well. And yep, he is going to hit the field. Now, I thought at this point he was going to go for, I really thought he was going to go for Cyber Dragon Infinity with the 2 soldiers on field, but he does not go for that. Check out what he actually summons here. He summons Borlow Dragon and then ABC Dragon. And if you guys haven't realized it by now, this is going to be a duel 100% decided by big ass machine monsters. ABC summoned big machine monsters. Obviously, Crystron specializes in that as well. And the thing about Crystron is Borlow can be a problem for this deck, because usually Crystron players, they like to synchro into Amatrix during their opponent's turn, and that can put all their special summon monsters in defense mode, and it's kind of your way of like making sure your opponent doesn't really do any battle damage to you, doesn't actually threaten you. But obviously Link monsters can't do it. They can't go in defense mode, so Amatrix does nothing against the deck, and that's like one of Crystron's main ways of defending themselves. So let's see what he's going to do. He goes into Quandrex, or Quandux. What's his name? Quandax, excuse me, mispronunciations for the win. He goes into Amatrix, but that's going to get banished by ABC Buster Dragon. Now, the cool thing is, even though he lost his monsters, if you guys noticed during the end phase, he got 2 draws because of this Crystron Potential. So this card actually is like keeping him in the duel. If he didn't have those 2 draws, man, I think he might have just been taken out of this duel. So ABC Buster Dragon is going to tag out. He didn't have a hand, so I think that's the right play, because if he gets Kaiju'd, you're just going to start like, crying and whatnot, and that's not good. Goes into Amatrix right there. Kills his own Crystron monster. That guarantees 1 draw. He is going to use Borlow to, make it so it doesn't have that 500 attack. And this, I'm not going to try and pronounce this guy's name. I've never been able to. I'm just going to call it the Crystron Synchro. It does kind of wipe the board clean. The problem is Borlow can just attack into it and take it. So that is a little bit of an issue. So, and that's exactly what's going to happen. And this is, I'm not going to lie, this is such a pretty field, man. He has a big ass Link machine monster, big ass fusion machine monster, and big ass synchro machine monster. All he needed was like a Gigant X or something like that, and I feel like he would have had the holy trinity of big ass extra deck monsters when it comes to like the different mechanics that are all machines. So let's go ahead and keep on rolling. At this point, I thought he was just gonna lose, because I mean, you have your boss monster taken away from you. You're only at 2,000 life points. You can't seem to get rid of the Borlow Dragon. I didn't even think ABC players ran that card, but it's putting in work. He is going to tag out for ABC Buster Dragon, and he uses that discard. I think that might have been premature, but his opponent only has 2 in hand, and he doesn't have, well, he didn't know that he had the field spell, so I kind of understand the discard. He goes into Needle Fiber, though, for the first time in the duel, and Needle Fiber is looking all right here. The problem is, I'm surprised he didn't go in for like Utopia the Lightning or something like that to maybe try and threaten. He goes into an Amatrix to try and throw some monsters into defense mode, which he does. He gets all 3 in defense mode. Borreload is just going to take that monster, and dude, he's just losing all his monsters to Borreload. Now this is cool. He goes into Samurai Warrior, or excuse me, Samurai Destroyer, which at least is able to make it so he doesn't die there, but it's going to lose some of his attack. And once again, he drew 2 more cards from the Crystallic Potential. So far this card in the span of this duel, not one copy of this card, but it has net him like what, 4 or 5 cards? I believe 4 cards minimum, but I think it was actually 5 cards. I probably lost count. At this point, he's going to attack, he uses limited removal, and finally gets rid of that fucking Borreload Dragon. I think ABC Buster Dragon is going to tag itself out so that he doesn't actually lose it for nothing. So that was pretty smart. He does essentially get 3 monsters to block attacks, and let's see how he's going to deal with this. He goes into another copy of Needle Fiber, and then he goes into the Synchro again, and he's able to banish them. So at least he's able to do something. Or no, just banish 1, because I think this one is immune to, what's it called? He drew another card, by the way. This one I believe is immune to monster effects because of its equip. Now this is where the Utopia the Lightning comes out, and if he had not tagged out right there with the Needle Fiber, he would have died 100%. Utopia the Lightning, 5,000 attack, game would have been over. He's almost able to end the duel here, but not quite enough. 1,700 is not enough. So I think he's drawn 5 cards, 6 cards with this Crystallic Potential, and that's why the card is called Potential, because it can be potentially game breaking. Goes into Vermilion Dragon Mech, is able to take out the Utopia, and in a duel where I have to say he's probably, like, he was getting dominated almost this entire duel, you now size up the field and your boy only has 1 card, pretty much no resources left, and look at all the cards that Crystron has. I mean, this is what it looks like when you are outgrinded. Sure, you might have the life point lead, but you don't have like the advantage lead, and it's because of this card. This card has net him so many cards, and it really kept him in the duel. I feel like Supply Squad can kind of do the same thing. It just doesn't work as well during your opponent's turn, because you ultimately only get to draw 1 card from it, but over a span of time it can still net you a bunch of cards, just like the Crystallic Potential. So he top decks his gadget and he says, no mas, I'm done. Obviously I can't summon my my freaking ABC Buster Dragon with this, and that is GG no re. So Crystron showing off that they can use their Link monster as well. I still feel like it should have just said one of those monsters should have been a Crystron monster. I think either the tuner or the non-tuner, because then only this deck would have benefited from it instead of every other deck in the world. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a comment in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching. As always, subscribe if you have not already, and turn on those notifications for daily videos. For anyone interested in the Crystron deck, it will be in the description of this video below.